Hey folks, fact, theory, or mystery in the Legend of Zelda series, we love it around here, which is exactly why I've created my very own series, Rating Your Theories, an opportunity to move away from going over my own thoughts and putting you lovely folks in the spotlight, discussing any and all theories and or mysteries that you submit. Today is the second installment to this new series, which is back, and now made into an actual series that I'll be doing due to such a warm reception on the first Rating Your Theories video. Originally it was a one-off video, but you all seem to really love it, especially the interaction it creates between all of us, and I love that too. So before getting into today's episode, let's quickly go over how this series will work going forward. So these videos will be uploaded around once a month, at the end of a month. Then during the first week, or just the day after uploading one of these videos, I'll put out a community post asking for you to submit your theories and mysteries for the next episode later that month. So keep an eye out for these posts. I'll be advertising them in my next few videos just so everybody kinda gets the idea of what's going on, but generally speaking this will be the format. Once a month, at the end of the month, Rating Your Theories by Hyrule Gamer. Your chance to have me read out your theory, give my own thoughts and ideas, and of course, my rating. And with that now out of the way, get ready for the first properly established episode of Rating Your Theories. We'll be looking at the power of malice, a Gerudo mystery, long lost relics in Hyrule Castle, the mysteries of the sky of the sequel, and an insane theory regarding a Zelda multiverse. Be sure to go and grab yourself a snack or drink and send them in to get featured right here. Be sure to drop a like and subscribe if you haven't already, really helps the channel out. And let's get into this one. Our first theory of the day comes from Logab. Ganondorf doesn't control malice. Malice controls him. Kicking off with a banger, I immediately like this. Malice as a concept is something that I am a huge fan of. Evil in a live form that isn't an actual body. A visual representation of the hatred flowing in the blood of villains. It's amazing, but yet mysterious. We don't know too much about how it works or where it is coming from. We suspect that its origins date back to Skyward Sword, but that's all we really know. This theory in particular is referring to the malice in relation to Ganondorf seen in the Breath of the Wild 2 trailer. We see malice flowing from him, and eventually out to the surface, lifting the castle into the air. This stuff is strong. But does he actually have any control here? Well, if we look at Calamity Ganon, that will help us out. This monstrosity of malice is quite literally something of its own. It's pure malice, thinking for itself. With that knowledge, you'd think the answer is no, Ganondorf doesn't control malice. But there is more to this. All of this takes place primarily at Hyrule Castle. 10,000 years ago, during the events of the first Calamity, the monster was sealed below Hyrule Castle, but at some point at the same time, so was Ganondorf. It's possible that during the time frame that they both laid below the castle, that they got to know each other, so to say. This is where it gets interesting for me. Would it then be Ganondorf obtaining the malice, or the malice obtaining him? I mean, that's the question. In the sequel trailer, it looks like the malice is almost escaping as soon as Ganondorf is awoken, which to me comes off as, until the moment of his awakening, the malice had him under its control. Him waking up is sending this huge wave, burst, or whatever you want to call it, out into the world. So, I'd agree. Malice does control Ganondorf, at least until he wakes up. What do I mean by this? Well, I think that the malice was essentially leeching off the King of Evil and using his power to power itself, meaning malice does in this sense control Ganondorf. But as mentioned, once Link and Zelda find him, I think that will all change and that Ganondorf might get a better grasp on the red pure evil known as malice. Personally, I really like the theory, and those are my thoughts on it. I'd personally give this one a solid 8 out of 10 rating. Next up, our second theory of the day coming from Monkey22. The Skylands are the same place that the dragons go to via their portals. Oh boy, this is interesting. Funny enough, I have a video coming out in February regarding the dragons in Breath of the Wild, and it will touch on this, but today, let's go for your theory. As seen in Breath of the Wild, the 3 dragons found across Hyrule can be seen leaving the frame via a portal in the sky. But where exactly do they go? This is a mystery yet to be answered. We know that only a select few can even see the dragons to begin with, but those few people in Hyrule must be wondering, where do those portals lead to, right? Right. Well, dragons across the series are actually one of the most unique species. Back in the days of Skyward Sword, they were basically gods. and then there's also some that are far from it. It's not unlikely that the dragons seen in Breath of the Wild also are. In the second trailer for the sequel, we see a sort of different looking Hyrule below at the Skylands. Many believe that this is some sort of either different time frame of Hyrule or alternative version of Hyrule. If true, could this be the place the dragons go? I mean, these runes do come across very majestic, godlike, and all those fun words. It could be a home of theirs. But honestly, I feel like we're lacking evidence to prove this one. It's a really nice idea, and I'd love it to be the case, and that would mean we could get a closer look at them in the sequel, but I just can't add much more to it. For this one, I'm saying 6 out of 10, which may seem a bit low, but it's purely down to the lack of ability for us to prove this. But the idea is very much there, and it has the potential to work out. Next up, from Salvador, why is there no Hylia statue found in Hyrule Castle? Bold of you to think that there isn't. Okay, I really like where this one is coming from, but the big thing to remember here is that Hyrule Castle in Breath of the Wild is partially in ruins. Actually, it's mostly in ruins, all whilst being overrun and infested with malice, monsters, and corrupted guardians. Point being, we don't get to explore the entire castle, and there is one room we don't get to see in particular, which could potentially be the simple answer to this. In creating a champion, we learned that one of the blocked off rooms due to all of the damage on the inside is the Great Hall, a central room on the inside that is currently blocked off due to all of the rubble. It's not certain, but personally I feel like if the castle was to have its own Hylia statue, which I think it would, given that this is the Hylian settlement / landmark, I'd imagine it would be somewhere in this room. Well, my first guess would have been somewhere outside, but I guess that would more be for Castletown, with the castle itself having one inside. On that note, there is also a chance the castle just doesn't have one. I mean, if Castletown had one, then why would the castle need one? It's kinda one big settlement. I mean, we're never going to know unless shown a full Hyrule Castle pre-calamity that we can explore, but it's definitely an interesting question. I think that there is one, and it's probably in the Great Hall. And as for the rating, I'm going to rate this one 7 out of 10. Next up, from Gabrielle. How have the Gerudo reproduced this whole time, if one male Gerudo is underneath the castle? An absolutely amazing question. As we know, throughout the history of the Gerudo, there has been and is only to be one male Gerudo born into the tribe every 100 years. Not specified as only one at any given time, but one every 100 years born. But the average lifespan of a Gerudo isn't exactly known, at least not by fact. There are theories and ideas to suggest they live around the same as a Hylian, 80 odd years, give or take by 10, somewhere around there. There is a lot of mystery in this area, but the question asked is extremely intriguing, arguably even more because of all of the unknown facts about the Gerudo lifespan. All we know for fact here is that a male Gerudo is born every 100 years. Ganondorf seen under Hyrule Castle is clearly a male Gerudo, but he is obviously in no state to reproduce with the Gerudo, which begs a few questions. Where is the male Gerudo that has been a part of their reproduction over the past 100 years? Is there a male Gerudo, or do the Gerudo no longer need this man? Of course they don't need him. You go, girl. But yeah, in Breath of the Wild, we have evidence of this. The Gerudo of this time are of course now full allies with the Hylians and the Kingdom of Hyrule. In the past, they were hostile bandits, but now they are very close and good allies. We know and see Gerudo leaving their hometown to seek out partners. This is so well integrated into their lives nowadays that they even have classes to help them find partners outside the walls of their desert oasis. Outside these walls, in the big land of Hyrule, we even see the Gerudo mingling with Hylians, for example. It is very possible that in order to reproduce nowadays, the Gerudo no longer need their ego-fueled Ganondorf, but rather have a choice to go out and find their perfect partner. Well, those that wish to anyway. The Gerudo have really become much more free and stronger in Breath of the Wild, but I've left one key part out until now. It was noted in the comment that if Gerudo and Hylian were to reproduce, that would make the offspring not 100% Gerudo. Generally speaking, yes, that's true. But what's also true, or more just a fact, we don't know if reproducing in the Zelda series works the exact same as our real-world process, or at least for the Gerudo. For all we know, and not to get too sciencey, their form of reproduction could be that the egg goes one way or the other, resulting in a Hylian baby, perhaps with some slight Gerudo traits such as eye colour, hair colour, or skin tone, or the egg goes the way of the Gerudo and results in a Gerudo baby being born, maybe a tad smaller than average, but hey, who knows. That's all part of this mystery. Hopefully in the sequel we will find out a bit more about him, his history, and extending from that, some Gerudo history during this time frame. They've definitely changed a lot over the years, and honestly, I think that nowadays they probably don't need this one male Gerudo to reproduce. I think they can manage. In terms of the mystery, it intrigues me a lot. As for a rating, it's 7 out of 10 for me. Now for our final theory of the day, from Suspicious Temmie. Breath of the Wild 2 will have time travel, and maybe even bring back past links. Oh my god. What an idea. What a brilliant idea. Travelling through time, but not in the typical Zelda fashion. This time, starting a multiverse. A game in which multiple links from different timelines appear. Focusing on your comment piece by piece, let's look at time travel first. This is an idea and theory that has been floating around from the very beginning of this game's speculation. From the moment we saw this rather prehistoric looking creature, to the moment we saw a very different looking Hyrule down below and Link taking on a rather ancient look. Time travel would be nothing new to the series, and in my opinion, I do see it being very possible in the sequel. I personally wouldn't be opposed to seeing it again personally. But the second part of your comment would really add to it. If during this time travel we somehow travel into other timelines or bring those timelines to us, we could get a Zelda game, or maybe even just a segment of the game, where we meet up and team up with some of the most iconic heroes from over the years, starting the Legend of Zelda multiverse. I'm talking the Hero of Time, the Hero of Twilight, the Hero of Winds, and of course the Chosen Hero. I'd obviously be open to others, but these are the most iconic to me. Imagine that somewhere in these sky ruins this all goes down, some sort of timeline breaking adventure through the mysterious sky ruins. Link, and Link, all adventuring this mysterious ancient area and vanquishing evil with the blades of Evil's Banes. Of course, there would have to be some sort of combo move performed together, but I think that's me getting carried away here. I think your comment goes from theory to idea within a few words, with the latter being more of an idea, but honestly it's amazing. You've taken a theory about the sequel, time travel, and added your own spin, which I love, because if you know me, I am very much more on the creative thinking side when it comes to this sort of thing, which is why I love this so much. Now for the rating. For me, I love this so much that I want to give it a 10. But the only reason I won't be, and really can, is because we just can't provide enough to try and suggest this further. For that reason, my rating is 9 out of 10. A fantastic submission for this episode, and something that I'd love to talk more about in future. Thanks a ton for watching. I really hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, be sure to drop a like and consider subscribing for more fabulous Zelda content. As mentioned, if you'd like to submit a theory for the next episode a month from now, keep an eye out for my community post that will go live tomorrow. From then, you'll basically have up until the week of the video to submit, so 3 weeks, 3.5 weeks give or take. I look forward to reading your theories and mysteries. If you haven't already, be sure to hop in our Discord server through the link below. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram to keep up to date, and as always, a huge special thank you goes out to all of my supporters across Patreon and YouTube. If you'd like to join them and get yourself a shout out upon joining and your name at the end of every video, then consider supporting. Again, thanks for watching, and until the next time, I've been Hyrule Gamer.